All right, thank you, thank you. Our next speaker is Mitchell Moreland. Give it up for Mitchell Moreland. Thank you. My name is Mitchell Moreland, and I'm speaking on seizing the future. And due to the quantum nature of the universe, nothing is deterministic. The future is dictated by your actions, and therefore, there are always opportunities to change. By the same token, we're not destined for anything. That is to say, we're not destined for nothing. Anything's possible. And the past does not dictate the future, only the present. Assigning blame to past events or mistakes in order to justify not taking hold of the future is the worst logical decision you can make. The greatest success I ever experienced in high school was in Dean Pietromonaco's AP Calculus class. I crushed that class. I happen to have a story relating to looking back. So, there's a thing called counting cards. Dean is particularly adept at counting cards. And so he goes to casinos and he counts cards. And he usually gets kicked out. Actually, he always gets kicked out. He's banned from every casino in the West Coast. Now, there was one particular incident where he was caught counting cards and they kicked him off the property, and one of the security guards was shouting after him as he was leaving, shouting profanities. Dean wasn't paying any mind to it, and then he got to his car, put his hand on the handle, and the security guard said something about Dean's mother. And Dean turned back and said, "Hey, man," and then immediately the guard said, "Oh, I'm giving you a ticket for not leaving the premises immediately." And so I feel that that story is very relevant to the idea of not looking back, because Dean looked back and he was hit with a $400 fine. So you'll be hit with that metaphorical fine if you can't learn to let go of the past. How many of you have seen Avatar: The Last Airbender? Yeah, a few of you. It's a good show. Now there's one character in particular, Zuko, who is very attached to the past. He's very concerned about his honor and redemption. And he lets his mistakes from the past dictate his future, which is a very major mistake that you can make. He's obsessed with capturing the Avatar, and his greatest downfall is the fact that he can't look past what he's done. And so, throughout the story, he learns that he's in charge of his own future, and he doesn't let others decide what he's going to do. And so I feel that I very strongly identify with that character because of his attachment to the past. It's my greatest downfall. And so I hope to adapt and let go of my mistakes, like Zuko eventually did. And so I feel that of all characters, of all fiction, he would be the ideal person to follow. Now the definition, kind of off topic, but continuing, the definition of progress would be the field of aerospace engineering. So much failure goes into creating a rocket that goes into orbit. If anyone's capable of studying aerospace engineering, it's me. Not to brag or anything, but I'm pretty good at math. And I'm fascinated with the science. It requires aptitude in very complex physics, fluid dynamics, which uses a lot of imaginary numbers. I know, imaginary numbers. And high-level calculus. I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's definitely going to be challenging, but I want to look to the example of Elon Musk in his pursuits at SpaceX. The first Falcon 9 rocket took 9 tries to get right. Falcon 1 through 9. And they all exploded, except for the Falcon 9. So much money was lost in this pursuit. But the fact that the last rocket failed didn't mean that the next one would. And Musk kept that in mind the whole time. And he made sure to keep moving forward. Even though he lost a lot of money, it eventually became profitable. Now SpaceX is way up there in aerospace. Probably, I would say, above NASA, because NASA isn't doing anything right now. Another discontinuity, but I would say the lowest point of my high school career was my freshman year. I'm so ashamed of what a worthless piece of garbage I was freshman year. I was so bad. I was terrible. I would normally tell a story about how horrible I was, but that was Yuba City High School. No one here knows. I don't want them to know. I could really get into it, and I really don't want to. But the only reason I mention this is to get into the high points of my high school life, non-academically speaking. I have problems with communicating with other people. And throughout my high school life, I have been learning how to be better. And I feel like the very peak of my social career was the senior prank. Now, I want to say I did nothing criminal. I did nothing destructive by nature, so don't come after me. I was purely creative, artistic even. I put a lot of time and effort into what I did. But the reason this defines my social career is because I sat in a room with, I believe it was 5 other people for 3 hours, and they tolerated me. And that was a milestone for me. It sounds bad, and I don't like talking about myself, but that was my peak. And I admit I was terrified, hiding from the police the whole time. Not criminal. Don't put me in prison. I wish my parents had a greater role in encouraging my academic development. They never really pushed me, and I really needed to be pushed. But I'm still grateful that they facilitated the proper upbringing for me to be a success in high school, or by my standards, a semi-success. I didn't do nearly as well as I wish I'd done. But the person who helped me through my high school experience the most guided me through the social aspect, that which I struggled with the most. And they've spent the last 3 years with me, just guiding me and grooming me to be the best person that I can be. And I'm so grateful that they didn't just leave, because I am still pretty terrible. And the one person who persevered through my stupid garbage when they didn't have to was my best friend, Aiden Jagir. I don't understand how anyone could have dealt with my crap. If I cloned myself, I wouldn't be able to spend that much time with me. Now, academically, the person that I am the most grateful to would be Dean Pietromonaco, my AP Calculus teacher. I've learned more in 2 semesters of calculus about life, about academics, about college, about school, about anything in that class than 4 years in a multi-million-dollar government institute. To all you freshmen, if you were crummy in middle school, now's the time to turn that around. It's not that hard to get a 4.0. I admit I was far from it, but I know I was capable of it, and I know most of you are capable of it. And also, remember, you're all pieces of crap. No one likes you, so stop acting like you're so cool. Of course, I mean that in a joking way, but seriously, like, tone everything down, like 4 notches. You freshmen are like almost as bad as I was. Also, you need to take AP Calculus. That class is just incredible. Best class to Placer. Please remember this as you go forward. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.